episode 5, Basti tells the teachers that he and Mila made the video together, it was consensual, and that he doesn't know how the video ended up being spread around the school. Even Lily vouches for him, saying that he's a good guy who would never, and some of the other students are also brought in as well, but they pretty much say they don't know anything, or they act as though it's normal, that teenagers are having sex and they take videos of it. The teachers check with Mila to be sure that the sex and or the recording were actually consensual, and they still give her the option of filing a police report, and the kids also all get a talk in assembly about the zero tolerance towards sexual violence policy and where the kids can go for help if they're in similar situations or if they just need help in general. After school, her mom comes to pick her up and tells her that she was only trying to help, but Mila accuses her mom of dragging this whole thing up again and putting her through hell. Remember, the last few episodes, the fuss over the video had pretty much died down because kids have short attention spans. Well, now she's kind of having to deal with it again, the spectacle of it, and she refuses to go home with her mother and her brother and chooses to go home instead with her dad. Sophia has been really creepy, like kind of leery at her teacher. They go to the same spinning class, and Sophia only knows this because of some social media stalking. She knows where the teacher goes to her spin classes. Also, I feel like the way the teacher talks to Sophia is, even if it's not flirting, which I can't tell, still kind of borders on inappropriate vibes, right? Like the teacher is just a little bit too friendly. I don't like it. They're all sweaty, they're chatty, and the teacher's like, oh, I gotta go grab a shower, and she touches Sophia on the shoulder. Now, this move to like a teenager who has a crush means everything. Later when she gets home, Sophia, as Erica, you know, her catfish, she texts the teacher and they start flirting a little bit, and the teacher sends kind of like a nude and almost nude to Sophia, who then gets off on that. And I gotta ask, are people really sending nudes to people on the internet who they haven't met in real life yet? Because that's crazy. Her face is in that nude photo as well. The basketball coach reprimands the players on the team and about the video, and he tells them that he never wants to see anything like that again, and he tells Basti that he needs to get it together. He's the captain and he's supposed to be a role model. At home, we see why Basti is the way he is, kinda. He has a boy mom and who coddles him quite a bit, and she goes on with Lily, who's agreeing, about how men aren't listened to enough these days. It's typical manosphere, men are victims and women are hysterical talking points, basically. There's then a memory of Basti walking in on his mother having sex with his basketball coach, and sometimes he can't get the images out of his head, and these intrusive thoughts, they just pop up randomly, and he has no control over it, obviously. So he's very distressed by it. His mom is young, athletic looking, and quite attractive, as is the coach. Basti's father, he was maybe once a very good looking man, and he's not a bad looking man. You can't really compare him to the basketball coach, right? Anyway, it's also something new and different for Basti's mom, I guess. The parents likely have a dead bedroom, we don't know, but what we do know is that Basti thinks that this whole happy family thing, it's a bit of an act. He has his own issues trying to prove his masculinity, so this experience has warped him in a way. Something, because he goes around on a serial dating spree, basically, and it feels as though he has something to prove. Everyone's texting then. Giannis and that friend of Mila's, whose name I can't remember right now, his kind of catfish, but not really, they're texting. Mila and Ali are texting, and I really hate like text-heavy shows because then you have to read this all, and I think it's very lazy storytelling, actually. Giannis really needs a distraction because the weed and the benzos aren't really working at the moment. It's almost going to be Saturday, and Saturday is a very important day for him. Carries a lot of emotional weight, and we're going to find out why. We also see him bump into Layla, her name is Layla, at school, and she asks him something about Saturday, that they have a date because they're paired on a project together, but he's really dismissive. He's not mean, he just is in his own world, and he does not notice her at all. She's the cat character. I mean, I do have a hard time believing that boys aren't attracted to her because she is very pretty, but high school boys can be rather shallow, and she's a bit bigger than the other girls. In any case, he's not interested in talking to her, even though they are really close in their online relationship, which must be kind of weird and a bit of a bummer for Layla. I guess I kind of owe Giannis's dad a half apology because we see in one of the memories that he does hug his son. So the 11th, this very important day to Giannis, is the anniversary of his mother's death, and it's been blocked out on the calendar. And Giannis reminds his father that this is the day that they always spend together. But it seems as though it's business as usual for the dad, and there just is no time for this. They have a casting, they have a breakfast, and so it's likely that they're not going to get to spend this day together. Mila and Ali hang out, and Mila expresses that she wants more. Can't they just pick up from where they left off? Ali is hesitant at first because she says she can't trust herself. After all, one of her past relationships was one of the reasons why she ended up at the clinic. But obviously she can't fight the inevitable too long. Now, as I said, I'm not opposed to these two. They're actually really cute and they both look really happy. But again, the chemistry is seriously lacking. Kiara, we get a bit of her backstory. She's a romantic, like seeing her parents in a happy, good marriage, and she has this idea of finding her true love, so she becomes obsessed with reality TV romance, but all of her romance encounters in real life so far have been really disappointed. Guys are only interested in sleeping with her, or she's just a little bit too intense for them. And at one point she's at a concert and one of the artists picks her out, and it's almost like the perfect movie meet cute, right? He's attractive, he's famous, he's singling her out of all of the girls, and he takes her somewhere to the back and they have sex. And you can tell even before they do anything that this is not really what she wants. It's not that she's not consenting, she's just taken aback by how disappointing and unspectacular this is with this guy. It's kind of like in a cheap back room somewhere. And if the guy paid any attention to Kiara, he would see that she is not having a good time at all. They kind of go back into the club holding hands, and Kiara's kind of happy until she realizes that she's just one of many girls. Things with Lily aren't going well either. It's weird, but in the memory with Basti and Mila, not the sex tape memory, there's another memory where Basti and Mila are in bed together. They actually look like they really like each other, that they're close. They cuddle, they spoon, and Basti actually looks at ease with her. It looks kind of romantic. Anyway, that night after he and Lily go to bed, Basti and Lily, we see him texting Mila, telling her that he misses her and she's the only one that he can talk to. Yanis's father completely cancels on him. They have plans with the baby, and in any case, he says they have death anniversaries every year. Yanis accuses his father of not caring anymore, and Yanis's father, in a really bad moment, tells him that his mother got depression after he was born, implying that Yanis himself might have been the cause. Obviously, in a teenager's brain, he hears that then he's responsible somehow for his own mother's death because this depression eventually took her life. So his dad, we all know that he's the worst. We didn't need any additional evidence of that, but the stepmom is just interested in her baby. I don't get why she couldn't just have father and son spend the day together and she could have gone off and been with her baby and her family. They both suck. Later, as he's handling his emotional support gun, his dad tells him that he can't forget that he has a casting today, and he can't be late either. When he says that he doesn't want this whole acting thing, his father says, well, you have nothing else. On his way to the casting call, or the audition, I guess, he reaches out to Mila, and she responds telling him not to call her. And then he also texts Layla asking if she's online. Like, he's just trying for a lifeline at this point. He desperately needs somebody to talk to after the kind of rejection from his dad. By the time he gets to the audition, he had been using and driving and texting. It was all very reckless, but he gets there safely. He's absolutely distraught about the worst day that he's just had. And of course, that hurt that he's feeling, he channels that into his performance during the audition. He's not acting here. This is real, and it's a cry for help. The producers, what do they see? They see an incredible actor able to be vulnerable, and they clap for him. Later, he starts fixing the gun, like finding a way to make it actually work, and he also buys some bullets for it. He then goes into his parents' room, and then he points the gun at his dad's wife. I don't think he's going to do anything, though. As for Mila, she's finally gotten everything that she wanted. She's in Ali's arms, but honestly, she says that the only thing she can think about is using. Anyway, that was episode 5.